Blarney, an excellent trade stimulator. Our tour group bus broke down last night as we were heading home from listening to a concert in a park. The heat had risen steadily, and miles from our hotel, we sat there as the sky was growing dark. Some of us were needing restrooms, some of us were thirsty, and seeing we had a lot of time to kill, our tour director led us to a nearby tiny pub she knew for both our needs would fill the bill. Lining up some tables in the tavern's biggest lounge, glad to get a chance to quench their thirst, several ordered drinks, then headed off to find the loos, swearing if they didn't they would burst. 10 or 15 minutes passed, then, strutting through the door, a lanky, bearded gentleman came in. He noticed how we'd congregated, trying to stay together, and threw us all a friendly little grin. After saying something to the guy behind the bar, he strolled to where we were and tipped his hat. "Howdy, folks," he greeted us. "I'll bet you've all come down to see the living legend. My name's Pat. You've probably heard he shows up here at Kelly's now and then, usually around an hour or so from now. It's good you came in early, 'cause to see him in the flesh, what you're doing here's the best way how." Someone near the table's end replied, "We're just a tour group, so who's this living legend supposed to be?" "Why, any man can tell you about old Patty Joe O'Brien, and one of 'em, I'm proud to say, is me. And if you got the time to drink another beer or two, I'll try to fill you in about Patty Joe." Well, knowing till the bus was fixed we'd nothing else to do, and now at 8:30, nowhere to go, plus being close to 30 miles from where we'd taken rooms, a distance we were not prepared to walk, all of us agreed we might as well do what he'd said: order beer, then listen to him talk. Having been on several tours, I knew that conversations had with locals added to the trip. So as the barmaid circled round with lagers number 2, I hollered at the fella, "Let her rip." "Well, Patty's done a lot of crazy things," he started out. "A couple years ago his horse went lame while they were playing polo, so old Patty threw the horse across his back and finished out the game. Running around that polo field, his pony on his back, he showed the crowd how much he loved that horse. And thanks to Patty, Chelsea won the match by 7 points, all of which were scored by him, of course. And just last week, to win again the Devonshire Cup, the snooker club he plays for watched in awe as Patty broke and ran the table 37 times, the longest run the sport has ever saw. But let me warn you, if he shows, pictures ain't allowed. And if he sees you staring, man, look out. He comes in pretty late sometimes, and sometimes not at all. But Patty's well worth waiting for, no doubt." Then, glancing at the barkeep, this guy Pat holds up 3 fingers, signifying time to bring more beer. That was when I asked myself, are all these crazy stories only being told to keep us here? Well, I stood up and quizzed the guy. "So there's no guarantee this Patty Joe is even coming in?" "Shut your lips and drink your beer," some lady bit my ass. The guy just smiled and raised his arm again. Now, the pub was strangely empty, not another soul around, waiting for this legend dude to show. But when I pointed out the fact that most of us were drunk and told the guide, "I think we ought to go," she got rather nasty. Told me, "Mark, you're free to leave. I'm sure that you'll enjoy your little walk. But I, for one, am going to stay until the bus arrives and listen to this local fella talk." "That ain't talk. That's Blarney," I blew up. "This guy's a fraud. I'll even bet you $50 he's lying. In fact, I'll pay the whole damn tab if he can somehow prove there even is a Patty Joe O'Brien." "Well, let's go ask the barkeep," she suggested. "If he's real, and often happens in, I'm sure he'll know. But if he won't confirm the guy, I swear I'll tell the gang that even if we walk, it's time to go." Bound to get the honest truth, she asked the man straight out, "Does this here O'Brien guy exist?" "Well, you bet he does," he answered back. "But I'll admit the stories, told to keep folks here and get 'em pissed, sometimes stretch the truth a bit, sometimes quite a lot. It helps the bar sell far more shots and beers. You see, the more we fill their ears with shite, the more they order drinks. And the more they drink, the more we fill their ears." A while back the owner learned that telling big old whoppers often tends to keep the tourists buying. And that there fella, blowing smoke, is, I'm afraid to say, the one and only Patty Joe O'Brien.